From thrones to tables, how the French Revolution changed modern restaurants. Food has played roles throughout history, forging peace and causing riots. Before the Revolution, modern restaurants as we know them barely existed. But when the nobles lost their heads, the way the world dined changed forever. Through my research of historical sources, I discovered how the social upheaval changed dining and food culture. During the Revolution, restaurants became political statements, menus were expanded, and they survived persecution. So next time you open a menu, you can think of what rewrote the government and shaped how people dined, giving rise to the modern culture. The Revolution transformed dining into a medium for political statement. Dining had become associated with social class, with distinct differences between the tables of the poor and the rich. Nobles dined on popular rustic meals, while commoners ate outdated aristocratic food. Elite banquets contrasted restaurants and their ideals of uniformity and unity. Restaurants began to serve food popular among the common people, and this drew more business and allowed restaurants to make their own political statement, taking the side of the commoners. In 1789, the Revolution brought a new ideal, individualism. Today, restaurants offer a plethora of options, but this concept did not come about until this revolution. The first Parisian restaurant, the Grand Taverne de Londres, introduced listing items on the menu and serving people at individual tables. This new concept allowed people to differentiate themselves. Imagine you're at a restaurant with your friends. Would you order the most expensive item and then dessert and 2 sides? Or would you order off of the dollar menu like everyone else? Now imagine you're CEO of a Fortune 500 company. You may choose a more expensive option. What you choose to eat can tell a lot about yourself and give a certain message. Menus during the Revolution allowed people to associate themselves with certain groups and make their own political statement. This setting provided a place for people to exercise their personal choice and reflected divisions. During the war, cannons were firing, fortresses were raided, but the most solid warfare was in the print, propaganda. Propaganda featuring the restaurants became very popular since it is the newest mode of expression. Prints featured men claiming to split a bill, showing the controversy over tax exemption, and King Louis was often depicted at the restaurant claiming to overeat without paying, showing aristocratic privilege. The French Revolution shaped what food became popular and influenced the evolution of the French cuisine and increased creativity. Cuisine had gained intellectual significance during the Enlightenment, taking importance beyond nourishment. Philosophers had argued that frivolous cultures viewed cookery as a form of art, and this was a tendency that France should avoid. Rousseau stated that diets should be kept simple, emphasizing a connection to nature. This led to the interest in rustic recipes, allowing nouvelle cuisine to emerge, which focused on freshness, lightness, presentation, short cooking times, and dietary awareness. The influx of representatives and chefs brought new dishes to Paris, along with new ingredients and methods. Additionally, many aristocrats had fled or were executed, so their cooks and servants had to find new jobs. They began working at restaurants, and this introduced the newer Rosian food to restaurants. This encouraged culinary creativity and created the modern haute cuisine, which focuses on the new art form and appeals to senses. Before the Revolution, traders had forced those who had prepared food to sell them to not sell individual portions on their own premises, so restaurants were illegal. But the first stage of the restaurant took form as bullion stores, which sold restorative soups, and they passed as apothecaries, allowing them to remain open. This is what the first restaurants evolved from. During the Revolution, however, the system was abolished, making it easier to open restaurants since it forced people to choose certain jobs. During the political upheaval, cooks and diners determined the culinary nationalism and legacies of old regime fused with the new nationalist ideas. Through the Great Terror, restaurants withstood great persecution. After the Revolution, restaurants' largest supporters became their greatest enemies, the revolutionary leaders. Although they had supported the individualism that restaurants had offered during the Revolution, after the war was over, they exclaimed that all modes of self-differentiation should disappear. They believed that to build their new republic, everyone should be the same and lose their identity. They wanted to destroy any remnant of the old regime, including their cuisine. Revolutionists often demanded police action to force restaurants to close, serve standardized fares, and they accused them of hoarding food during the terror. Public meals became encouraged by revolutionary leaders. These were mandatory street festivals where citizens would contribute the same amount of food and cook together and serve and eat the same food. The meal in the streets showed the battle between the rich and the poor, and the sharing of food represented unity and equality. However, this forcefully drew business away from restaurants, and restaurants began to become a sign of the rich and also a public enemy. Though the terror set out to abolish all symbols of the old regime, gastronomy remained. Its public prominence is tied to political power and a place that represented ideals and a sense of self. Restaurants during the Revolution withstood persecution, became a political statement, and changed what food became popular. It became a place that represented individuality, creativity, novelty, and ideals. The birth of the Republic of France laid the foundation for the modern restaurant and made Paris the center of cuisine, which it remains today. Any questions? Thank you.